Halloween is supposed to be a night of harmless scares, laughter echoing down dark streets, and the thrill of costumes and candy. But sometimes, the masked people wear hide more than just faces, they hide intentions. Tonight, I'm sharing 3 real-life horror stories that happened on Halloween night. These aren't urban legends or campfire tales. They're true accounts from people who thought they were just out for a little fun, only to find themselves in situations that would haunt them for years. As you listen, remember, the scariest monsters are often the ones standing right beside us, blending in with the crowd. Our first story comes from a college student named Alex, who volunteered to chaperone his younger sister's trick-or-treating. What started as a simple act of brotherly love turned into a night he'll never forget. If you think you know what's lurking in the shadows on Halloween, think again. Sometimes, the real danger is the one you never see coming. So turn down the lights, lock your doors, and listen closely. These stories might just change the way you look at Halloween forever. Alex had always thought of himself as the responsible one, the big brother who could handle anything. That Halloween, he was tired from a long week of midterms, but he couldn't say no when his little sister begged him to take her and her friends trick-or-treating. The night started out perfectly normal. Kids in costumes darting between houses, parents chatting on the sidewalks, porch lights glowing orange and purple. But as the group made their way down a quieter street, Alex noticed a man standing alone beneath a broken street lamp. The man wore a mask, but it wasn't the playful kind you'd expect on Halloween. It was blank, expressionless, almost too real. At first, Alex brushed it off as someone trying to scare the kids, but the man didn't move, didn't speak, just watched. Every time Alex glanced back, the man was a little closer, always just at the edge of the light. The kids didn't notice, they were too busy comparing candy. But Alex's unease grew with every step. He tried to laugh it off, but deep down, he knew something was wrong. Sometimes, the scariest things are the ones that don't make a sound. As the group neared the end of the block, Alex's sister tugged at his sleeve, asking if they could visit one last house before heading home. He agreed, trying to keep his nerves in check. The kids ran up the driveway, giggling, while Alex hung back, eyes scanning the street. That's when he realized the masked man was gone. Relief washed over him for a moment, until he heard footsteps crunching on the leaves behind him. He spun around, heart pounding, and saw the man standing just a few feet away, silent and unmoving. Alex tried to sound brave, asking if the man needed something, but got no reply. The man just tilted his head as if studying him. Suddenly, the porch light flickered on, and the kids came running back, oblivious to the tension. The man melted into the darkness, vanishing between houses. Alex hurried the group home, locking the door behind them. He never saw the man again, but for years after, he'd catch glimpses of blank masks in crowds and feel his skin crawl. Sometimes, the real horror is knowing you were being watched and never finding out why. Our second story comes from Mia, a high school senior who loved Halloween more than any other night of the year. She and her friends had a tradition. After trick-or-treating, they'd explore the old abandoned house at the edge of their neighborhood. It was a dare, a rite of passage, and every year, someone would chicken out before they even reached the porch. But this year, Mia was determined to prove she wasn't afraid. The house was a crumbling relic, windows boarded up, weeds choking the yard. As the group crept inside, their flashlights flickered over peeling wallpaper and broken furniture. They laughed nervously, daring each other to go deeper. But then, from somewhere upstairs, they heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps, slow, deliberate, heavy. The laughter died instantly. Mia's friend whispered that it was probably just an animal, but the footsteps were too steady, too human. The group froze, listening as the steps moved closer and stopped. In the silence, Mia's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "I see you." Panic set in. They bolted from the house, not daring to look back, hearts racing into the night. Back in the safety of the streetlights, Mia's friends tried to laugh it off, but no one could shake the feeling that they'd been targeted. When Mia checked her phone again, there was another message, a blurry photo of their group, taken from inside the house. That image haunted her for months. She reported it to the police, but they couldn't trace the number, and no one ever figured out who sent the messages. For weeks, Mia jumped at every creak in her house, every unknown number that called. Halloween was never the same for her. She learned that sometimes, the scariest places aren't haunted by ghosts, but by people who know how to hide in plain sight. And sometimes, the real horror isn't what you see, but what you never find out. These stories aren't meant to ruin Halloween, but to remind us that the line between fun and fear can blur in an instant. Our final story is a chilling reminder that even the safest places can become terrifying when the wrong person decides to step inside. This one comes from a man named Chris, who thought he was spending Halloween alone.